Hi guys, Brand here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today I wanted to talk about something of a little content creator fallacy that I've seen a lot. It came up during the reacts this week, and I wanted to kind of dedicate a full video to this because it's something that I've noticed that a lot of content creators do in the Dead by Daylight space that is kind of used as kind of a very, very poor strawman argument to usher in change and things that they want about the game and convince people to do what they want, especially behavior when it comes to balance changes. But when you break it down, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's go ahead and talk about high level DBD and what that actually means. And so the thing that I take issue with, the thing that bothers me out there in the Dead by Daylight community, is I've noticed that a lot of DBD commentators or people just, it doesn't have to even be commentary channels in Dead by Daylight, but people just arguing and whining on Twitch, Twitter, Reddit, basically any social media that you can think of where you can find Dead by Daylight. People are arguing, always whining and complaining about the state of the game, how it is, what we should do to change it. And it's always usually a very volatile and very unhappy place. Sure, that's not news to you. One of the things I've always noticed that seems to crop up often as a sort of excuse or reason that ABC needs to change is this idea of high-level Dead by Daylight. DBD at the highest level, at the highest skill cap. This at DBD, when it's played at the highest level, is like this, so ergo pop needs to change, ergo pain rest needs to change, ergo windows of opportunity needs to be changed, either like now background player needs to be changed because of the highest level of Dead by Daylight. Now this is language that bleeds over from other games where, there's actually formal ranked modes where you actually have a ranking system like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, up and up and up and go, where you can actually say, okay, well, people at bronze play a certain way, people at silver play a certain way, people at gold play a certain way. And Dead by Daylight does have an MMR system, but there is no rank system and there's no way to check your own MMR, so you don't really know where your MMR is if you play like hours and hours and hours a day consistently, and you don't really lose more than, I don't know, you don't really lose that often, you win like 90% of your games, you can kind of assume that you're raising your MMR, but even then you still can't technically check your MMR, but that's a different video that I've already made. But it's not like other games where you can, there's a rank and you can make generalizations about that rank based on certain things. That's why I tried to make a generalization based generally on hours, even though you still kind of can't use hours to determine how people play in Dead by Daylight. You hear me say that on the match reviews, it's like, yeah, 1K hours, most people kind of know what they're doing, but there's probably some stuff that fell through in terms of their fundamentals. Try to do stuff like that, but there's nothing really concrete in Dead by Daylight. It's like, okay, well, you're a gold player and most gold players do this. You're a platinum player, most platinum players do this. So when people bring this up, when they bring this up in their arguments, they bring up, oh, well, DBD at top level play. What does that even mean? Does that mean high MMR? Because we can't prove high MMR. I've already made that video. Unless you're hacking in Dead by Daylight, you can't actually know for sure that you're at high MMR. That's just an assumption. So you can't do that. Doesn't mean hours, because while hours kind of gives you a general-ish idea of how people are playing, it doesn't actually tell you how they're playing. I know people with like 8-9K hours in this game who are some of the most terrible loopers I've ever seen. They'll admit it to you too. They'll tell you to your face, like, I play this game just because I think I like going for hook saves. I like boon perks. I think they're funny the way they make that big thunder noise, and then I can do things. Like, there are people that just enjoy this game for one reason or another, or hate this game for one reason or another, and they just keep playing. They don't even ever improve. They don't ever pick up on the fundamentals. They just get way, way, way deep into the hour pool and just never improve. And it doesn't even have to be like they're bad players. There's probably just, a lot of the time, there's probably just something that they kind of fell through that they're just not good at. I cannot tell you how many big streamers I watch with like 8-9K hours who have hundreds, thousands of viewers who dry kick gens like it's no tomorrow. Dry kicking is not a good habit, and it's usually a waste of time. Even with the new update, it's for the most part still a waste of time, and I see so many big killer main streamers dry kicking gens like no tomorrow. And it's ridiculous that if they can get that high and that experienced and have so many people watching them and not correct them about such a like easy to avoid mistake. So you can't really use hours to define high level DBD or top level Dead by Daylight. So what do people mean by that? It could get even worse, because if we just look at the survivor role alone, what is considered top level Dead by Daylight? Because all you really need to do to win a survivor is just gen rush. Like, all you have to do is to know how to rush the gens well. Bring a bunch of toolboxes with brand new parts, split up on gens early, come together near the end to make sure that the final 2 get done. That's it. That's all you need to know how to do. And none of that is particularly skillful, but it does get the W. Is that top level DBD play? Is that what that constitutes? Or is top level DBD play being able to loop one loop of an entire tile 3 times before needing to drop the pallet, and then knowing to not W into the dead zone, but to W towards the next tile so you can continue your chase and have a really long chase? Is that top level DBD? I would hope that that's top level DBD, but who knows? Who knows what top level DBD actually means, because nobody ever really defines it. And the reason that nobody ever really defines it is, if you notice, in its usage. Top level DBD is never brought up outside of conversations where somebody isn't whining about balance and trying to persuade you to change your mind about something. And the reason that is because if we actually sat down and tried to define what top level DBD was, the definition of that by nature would be so concrete that they couldn't use it as something malleable to try and change your mind about other things. It basically is serving a purpose as this kind of like mysterious kind of vague term that people can just bring up whenever they want, just to whine, to complain, to fix things, or quote unquote fix things, just change the game in ways that they want to happen. I see this most often exemplified as like, oh, well, at top level DBD, I can never catch survivors. Now that in reality, that person may only be at like 300 hours and not really good at chasing yet, but they may think that they're in top level DBD just because the survivors are starting to loop them a little bit better. But, you know, that same person's not going to take that into account. They're just going to go on Twitter, they're going to go on YouTube and down in the comments, and they're just going to be like, oh, well, I'm already in top level DBD and the survivors are so nasty up here, when in reality, they're probably making a lot of mistakes. They're probably making a lot of mistakes that they could use and improve on. But they're not going to say that. They're going to say, I'm in the top level of DBD, so we just need to change the game. What is top level DBD? I don't know. I don't think it's anything. That's my hot take. I know it's kind of like a maybe disappointing. I think top level DBD is just something that's completely made up just to support people's arguments. You know, we probably thought we were going the direction of like, let's go ahead and define that. That way we can actually have a definition for once. No, I think the term top level or high level DBD is just harmful. I don't think that's something we should use to discuss things. I think it's something that, like I said, I only think it's ever been brought up when people are just talking out their behinds about stuff that they don't really know about or are extremely biased about and want to make changes that would be unhealthy and hurt the game. So they just start bringing up the shield of, oh, it's just high level DBD. It's top level MMR, so you don't know, you know. So honestly, I think top level DBD is just a complete fallacy. I don't think it's something that's actually real. I think it's just something that people made up to try and persuade others. And I feel like as a community in general, we should avoid using this term unless we really want to sit down as a whole community and like try to define it. But until then, we probably shouldn't use that. It's just language that just does harm to the game and to the community around us. So I would urge you to maybe confront your local content creator when they're like, oh yeah, in the top level of Dead by Daylight. Be like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? If there's any TLDR that I want you to do to take away from this video is if you see a content creator doing this where they're like, oh, well, in the top level of Dead by Daylight, confront them. Be like, what does that actually mean though? You say that, you say those words together, but what do they actually fucking mean? And if they don't have an answer for you, tell them to stop using it. So yeah. What do you think of that? Do you think that that's the top level DB is just this thing people made up, or do you think there's actually something concrete to that? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. But I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.